Prime Minister Lawrence Wong, speaking at the People's Action Party's 70th anniversary convention on 24 November 2024, called for national unity in navigating an uncertain global landscape while outlining his vision for Singapore's future. Addressing party members and supporters, Wong emphasized leadership renewal, tackling cost of living challenges, and building a more inclusive society as key priorities.
And so the world is in flux. The established norms are fading, but a new order is not yet in place.
Citing the wars in Ukraine and the Middle East as examples of growing instability.
We can expect more conflict and instability in the world because state and non-state actors will be emboldened to test boundaries, often with little or no consequence.
He warned of a vacuum in global leadership as the United States steps back from its role as the world's policeman, exacerbating tensions with China.
Unfortunately, there is deep suspicion and mistrust between America and China. Each regards the other as a strategic threat, and both are taking steps to enlarge their spheres of influence and to strengthen their own positions. So it will get harder to find common ground.
Wong urged Singaporeans to rise above their differences on such global issues.
It is already tough to be a small country for our voice to be heard. It will be even tougher if our voice is diffused and incoherent.
He stressed the importance of speaking with one voice on the world stage to safeguard Singapore's interests. Wong acknowledged the financial pressures many Singaporeans face, attributing them to persistent global inflation.
It's not unique to us in Singapore. Countries everywhere face similar pressures because of the recent spike in global inflation. Over the recent months, inflation in many of these places, including Singapore, has moderated, but price levels remain higher than before, and this impacts on people's sense of well-being.
He cautioned that dissatisfaction over rising costs has led to strong anti-incumbency sentiments globally, with many ruling parties losing vote shares or mandates. To mitigate the impact, Wong cited significant assistance packages introduced over the past years and announced that another tranche of CDC vouchers would be distributed in January 2025.
But here in Singapore, the government is doing its best to shield you, to shield all of us from the worst effects of inflation. So as a government and as a party, we are doing all that we can. And we can truly say that hand on heart, we are doing all that we can.
Leadership renewal within the PAP was a major theme of Wong's address. He described it as a critical task for ensuring Singapore's continued success. Earlier in the event, Senior Minister Lee Hsien Loong said that he would propose to the Central Executive Committee for Wong to be appointed as the PAP's next Secretary General, completing a leadership transition that began in 2022.
And this will complete the leadership transition from me to my successor.
Describing the moment as a significant milestone for the party and its future. Let me be candid and upfront with all of you. Look at the current cabinet. More than half of the ministers are aged 60 and above, he said. Wong shared how he had sought advice from his predecessors, Emeritus Senior Minister Goh Chok Tong and SM Lee, both of whom faced similar challenges in attracting new political talent.
It's never easy to get good people to enter politics.
Calling the process the most crucial, most urgent thing I must do, he highlighted the importance of bringing in younger candidates early to allow them to gain experience and build confidence. Reflecting on his own journey,
I was inducted into politics in 2011. At that time, I was 38. I had already spent 15 years in the civil service. But there was still so much to learn about organizing the PAP branch on the ground, gaining the trust of voters, running a ministry, explaining policies to the public, or engaging and interacting with foreign counterparts. These were all new to me, even after working as a public servant for 15 years. So there is tremendous value in starting early.
Wong stressed the need for the PAP to adapt to a more competitive political landscape.
In the past, for a long time, when the political landscape was less contested, the PAP could afford to stay in the background. So it was the government that would go out to engage citizens, explain policies, and solicit feedback and ideas. To be clear, the government of the day will continue to do so, but the PAP can no longer operate from the back.
Instead, the party must step forward to mobilize citizens, explain its policies, and engage Singaporeans on issues that matter to them. He also addressed concerns about opposition voices in Parliament, saying,
"There have been opposition MPs in Parliament continuously ever since 1981, and with the NCMP scheme, we are guaranteed of at least 12 opposition MPs in Parliament. The opposition in Singapore is here to stay."
However, he cautioned against a significant swing in votes toward the opposition, warning that this could lead to a weaker government with reduced problem-solving capacity. Wong urged party members to work hard to win Singaporeans' trust, acknowledging the high stakes in the next general election due by November 2025.
But we must never assume that we will not see a change in governments in our lifetimes.
Wong concluded his speech by reaffirming his commitment to building an inclusive and fair Singapore. He envisioned a country where every citizen, regardless of background, has equal opportunities to succeed. Here in Singapore, we are all equal. So long as we work hard and aim high, we can turn possibilities into achievements and dreams into reality, he said. He also reiterated the PAP's mission to serve all Singaporeans, vowing to fight for their support.
Together, let us forge a new path forward and build a better Singapore for all. Majulah PAP, Majulah Singapura.